We do. Great. We can begin our solemn sitting, a very important sitting. Lithuania is one of the greatest supporters of Ukraine, and while visiting Kiev in summer and meeting Deputy Speaker of the Verkhovna Rada of Ukraine, Olena Kondratyuk, and describing our activities and work with the diaspora and cooperation between Lithuanian institutions and that of the diaspora, we decided to invite Ukrainians living in Lithuania and around the world in order to share our experience with the view of making Vilnius a center for uniting Ukrainian diaspora. I'm very happy that Olena Kondratyuk has joined us this morning. I thank you very much, and I would like to ask you to make a welcome address.
Olena, did you hear me?
Oh, yes.
Yes, we are waiting. The floor is yours. And you can speak Ukrainian. The translation should be to Lithuanian language. No worries.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Good morning, dear colleagues.
Dear colleagues, friends, representatives of the government, Your Excellency Ambassador Valdemaras Sarapinas, Your Excellency Dalia, ladies and gentlemen, it is a pleasure to see you and listen to you. Despite the fact that we have to communicate via interpretation, we're very happy to be together with you and to join our Lithuanian partners and the Ukrainian diaspora in Lithuania. Let me first of all, on behalf of the Verkhovna Rada of Ukraine, thank for the organization of this conference that is called Vilnius, the Center for Uniting Ukrainian Diaspora. I believe that this is an important event that will help to organize the activities of our diaspora in conjunction with the parliament in this challenging time. From the very first days of the war, you have supported us. You raised the funds and have been providing us with the necessary military, humanitarian, and other voluntary assistance. I want to thank the Seimas for the 10 resolutions adopted in favor of Ukraine, the condemnation of the Russian aggression, and the condemnation of the genocide against the Ukrainian nation perpetrated by Russia, the condemnation of the deportation of Ukrainian children. I thank the Seimas and the head of state of Lithuania for comprehensive support and assistance and on enabling the Ukrainian path towards the EU membership and the membership of NATO. Now, when we're looking forward to launching the negotiations on the full-fledged membership of the EU, since the 24th of February, Lithuania, together with NGOs, has provided more than 1 billion in support, which is 1.5% of Lithuania's GDP. More than 60 million were donated by Lithuanian citizens, and according to public polls, more than 62 95% of Lithuanian population support Ukraine in one or another way. This is a unique phenomenon, and we are very grateful for that, and we appreciate every support that you give. Every drone helps us, helps our soldiers on the front line. You have provided refuge for a number of our citizens. We know that the majority of them are women and children. We also know that in Lithuania, more than 10,000 of Ukrainian children live in Lithuania now. They attend Lithuanian schools and kindergartens, and we're very grateful for providing possibilities for learning in the Ukrainian language for our children. In state schools in Vilnius, Klaipėda, and Šiauliai, Ukrainian classes were opened in these cities where Ukrainian is being taught by Ukrainian instructors. And several schools received accreditation and licensing for instructing in the Ukrainian language because they are in line with the Lithuanian requirements, which is very important for Ukrainian diaspora and refugees, because Ukrainian children need to know the state language they live in, but at the same time preserve their national identity and their relation with their homeland. Before the full-fledged war in Ukraine, 1.5% of Ukrainians lived in Lithuania. Together with refugees, now we have around 100,000 Ukrainians who live and work in a friendly Lithuania. This is a big community, and I thank all those who help Ukrainians to feel like home in Lithuania. I thank all the Europeans who, despite the difficult situation, raise the funds for assisting and supporting our army that is defending the European values. Today we have to put in all the efforts possible so that in all the countries around the world we can unite the forces and efforts of Ukrainian diaspora. Ukrainian diaspora, according to the World Diaspora Congress, is spread around more than 1,000 countries around the world, where the positions of Russian propaganda are very strong. I speak about the global south. There we have to enhance our efforts. It is very difficult to communicate with the diaspora there and to speak about the truth of the Russian invasion. Through parliamentary diplomacy in Mexico, we finally managed to achieve a political resolution condemning Russia's aggression. This was adopted by all the Christian political parties, and this region is extremely important for us. I want to speak on a very important issue. I take this opportunity to do that. We have to resist the Russian narrative of the fatigue of the Russian aggression in Ukraine, because Russia, as an aggressor state, works hard to procrastinate and to wear down our partners. Russia hopes that the world will be tired of the war in Ukraine, and that even the most immediate neighbors like Lithuania, Poland, Latvia and Estonia will be tired of this war and of assisting Ukraine. They can become the victims of Russianism if Ukraine fails to resist. Russia hopes that European countries will see the pro-Russian political forces coming into power. We see a number of countries that refuse assisting Ukraine in the military sphere. I hope that the Baltic states will continue to support us. We hope for the fastest possible renewal of territorial integrity and the accountability of Russia for all the damage done. I visited Ukrainian assistance centers abroad and spoke with Ukrainian diaspora in Lithuania as well. I also had the opportunity to speak in the Lithuanian Seimas. Vilnius has become very important for us since the beginning of the aggression. On the 24th of February, 24th of January, President Zelensky provided Vilnius with the award of a city refuge provider. We appreciate your assistance, and we also communicate with the Lithuanian diaspora. We discussed issues with Dalia. Earlier this year, we also spoke about the possibility to organize a similar event in Lithuania, because one of the most important challenges for Ukraine is to bring back thousands of citizens home. I thank you for your attention, and I wish you productive endeavors in this conference and in this meeting. I wish you resilience, unity, and hope in victory. I hope that we will continue to be united further on. Thank you.
Thank you, dear Lena. And today we have a few people to welcome the diaspora and you, and we have Deputy Speaker of the Seimas of the Republic of Lithuania, Paulius Saudargas.
Gerbiama Ukrainos aukščiausios rados vicepirmininkė.
Madam Deputy Speaker of the Verkhovna Rada of Ukraine, Olena Kondratyuk, it is a pleasure to see you active and joining us. Chairpersons of the Commission, ambassadors, ladies and gentlemen, I'm very happy to welcome you in a very important sitting or conference of the Lithuanian Commission of the Seimas and the Lithuanian world community. Lithuania has faced a number of waves of immigration, has a large diaspora, and around 1.3 million Lithuanians live abroad, which is 1/3 of the Lithuanian nations. The third wave of immigration was very distinct. It was a wave of political prisoners that began after the Second World War, when the occupations of Lithuania began. Young and old people went to the West because they hoped that Lithuania will become independent again after the war and people will be able to return home. Nobody thought that Lithuania would be occupied for 50 years. And at that time, we felt the support and help of our diaspora abroad. They put in all their efforts to renounce Lithuanian occupation, to not recognize it on the international level, and help Lithuania in its independence cause. They preserved their Lithuanian identity through cultural and other activities that was organized in the countries they lived. The aggressor that forced Lithuanians flee their country started the unprovoked war in Ukraine, and which resulted in the largest wave of refugees after World War II. Around 6 million Ukrainians fled to other European countries, and many of them moved to a relatively more secure areas. Despite the fact that the refugee crisis causes a certain headache for receiving countries, Ukrainians see it important to preserve their language, their identity, to unite into diaspora communities and celebrate their holidays. However, countries who received refugees are putting all the efforts so that this temporary but long-term emigration from the home country and life in a different country, different culture is more secure. We share the same fate with Ukraine. We were members of the Lithuanian Grand Duchy of Lithuania. We also fought against the Soviet aggression together. We had a great cooperation and friendship between our nations. But today, in these tragic circumstances, this is stronger than ever. We will never give up in defending our countries by preserving the best qualities of our countries: honesty, strength, and courage. Today, we fight for the main values of the European civilization. We are proud to be your friends and comrades. Your victory is in the thoughts and hearts of people of the free world. We will do our utmost to support you in any possible way. I wish you a productive conference. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker Paulius Saudargas. We would kindly ask to give a welcome address for the Egidijus Meilūnas, Vice Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Lithuania. Deputy President of the Verkhovna Rada of Ukraine, Deputy Speaker of the Seimas of the Republic of Lithuania, members of the Seimas of the Republic of Lithuania, chairs and vice chairs of the Commission of the Lithuanian World Community, participants of the conference, guests. Let me start the conference with the words Slava Ukraine, glory to the country and the nation that today defends not only its own freedom, but that of the whole entire world and the free future of the entire democratic world. And I want to assure the Ukrainian brothers and sisters that Lithuania, together with other democratic partners, strongly support Ukraine and will continue to support Ukraine until its victory. We will continue to support you on the international arena, providing financial, military, humanitarian and development assistance. Lithuania and the Baltic states remain among the largest donors of Ukraine, both when it comes to public authorities and civil society, because they all are trying to mobilize and consolidate international support. This is an expression of the moral attitude of our country. Today, we're talking about the security guarantees and commitments to Ukraine. Let me assure you that Lithuania has been and will remain one of the strongest supporters of Ukraine's membership of the European Union and NATO. Our vision for the future is very clear: a strong Ukraine in a strong transatlantic space. brutal aggression by Russia forced millions of Ukrainians to flee their homes. Some of them have found refuge here in Lithuania. We'll continue to provide support to Ukraine, not only as a gesture of solidarity, but also as witnesses of similar historical experiences. We are a diaspora state that has experienced, which has been mentioned, 4 major waves of immigration in the course of history. Vice Speaker of the Seimas also referred to them, that Lithuania felt it in the struggle for independence when the residents of our country faced Russia's occupation in 1940 and 1944. Therefore, today, Lithuanians are well aware and do understand the feelings of Ukrainians who are forced to leave their homes, just like the feelings of those who were deported forcibly from Russia, especially the children. We see that the Russia's attitude has no change. It is as evil as it has been, and we have to bring our efforts together to overcome this evil. The Lithuanians who found refuge abroad established diaspora organizations and continued their fight for independent Lithuania. Once Lithuania regained its independence, the diaspora continued providing their support to Lithuania, which is of crucial importance to the Lithuania. We feel this support even when the security situation changed dramatically in the region. We have very good examples of cooperation between diaspora and Lithuanian society when our diaspora and public addressed to the international community on stopping Russia. They also organize campaigns against Russia's aggression, provide various funding campaigns, and so on and so forth. Ladies and gentlemen, a strong connection with the diaspora is a priority of the Lithuanian state, in which we are guided by the idea of global Lithuania. And we hold the view that the Lithuanian nation is united by Lithuanian identity and historical memory. It's integral, not divided into Lithuanians living. We are not dividing Lithuanians into those who live in Lithuania and abroad. This provision has been integrated in the main strategic documents of the Lithuanian diaspora policy, which provided the basis for a qualitative change in order to strengthen the relationship, dialogue, and partnership between the state and the diaspora. The policy of diaspora is among the priorities of the parliament under the leadership of Victoria Chmilytė Nielsen. Let me draw your attention to 3 important things. In the recent years, more than 70 legislation have been adopted or amended in the area of diaspora policy. Over the past 3 years, the funding for diaspora state-building projects and initiatives has doubled to almost 10 million euros. And also the number of diaspora policy implementers has also increased significantly over the past year, from 13 state institutions in 2012 to 50 institutions and municipalities this year. Next year, we expect to have more than 70 participants to implement this diaspora policy. The increasing participation of Lithuanian municipalities in this process is welcome, because our diaspora representatives cooperate with their place of birth as well. Our strategy for diaspora is inclusive, but we focus mainly on strengthening national identity and maintaining national identity, with a particular focus on children and young people in diaspora. Secondly, the participation of the diaspora in Lithuanian affairs, the creation of Lithuania and the development of diaspora citizenship. And thirdly, the promotion of return to Lithuania and the creation of favorable conditions for integration. the Lithuanian parliament, municipal institutions, businesses, non-governmental organizations, the Lithuanian diplomatic representations abroad work hand in hand. Therefore, partnership and common effort is the basis for our diaspora policy and one of the success examples of this policy. My colleague Lina Zhukauskaitė will later, and other representatives of institutions will later present in more detail the activities of the Lithuanian government in this field and how we try to strengthen the relations between the diaspora and the government. But today, I'm using this opportunity to tell you that we are ready to share our experience with the Ukrainian government, and the cooperation on diaspora matters could become one of the aspects of our cooperation. It is also important and meaningful to continue to unite the forces of the Ukrainian-Lithuanian diaspora around the world by mobilizing support for fighting for Ukraine that is fighting and support for the reconstruction of Ukraine in the future. Our strength lies in our unity. Ladies and gentlemen, this meeting also symbolizes our unity. Therefore, I sincerely thank you, Dalia Sanavičiūtė, Chair of the Lithuanian World Community, guests and participants of the meeting for this meeting, and I wish you a meaningful and inspiring debate. Slava Ukraine!
Thank you, Egidius. And now I'd like to give the floor to Deputy Minister of Culture, Mr. Albinas Ilčinskas.
Šios puikios komisijos nariai.
Ladies and gentlemen, together with Ukraine, we share not only our beautiful history of the Grand Duchy of Lithuania, we also share our painful experience when, due to horrible terror aimed at extermination, people of our nations have to emigrate. Those who were most bright, the elite of our population. If we compare the communities in the US and Canada, we could see real numbers that Ukrainian diaspora was much larger there, but the reasons for forming the diaspora was the same enemy and the same threat against our states. The cultural identity that was preserved after countries were closed in the Cold War bloc. This identity that was preserved by the diaspora did not disappear. It flourished in these countries. And today, the unity that is being renewed with Lithuania and Ukraine is inspiring for new endeavors. When we speak about today's situation, it is important to see the people who, as we call them, refugees, found home in Lithuania. Cultural establishments also accepted people of culture, Ukrainian communities, and they were given the possibility to assemble and to find a peaceful place. We understand that creators and artists feel very deeply for all the tragedies. I'm happy that this conference is held in the framework of the sitting of the Commission of the Seimas of the Republic of Lithuania and the Lithuanian World Community. I hope that all the ideas will bear fruits and we will attain the victory. Ukraine, Slava Ukraine. Thank you. And now I would like to give the floor to Mr. Valdemaras Sarapinas, Ambassador of the Republic of Lithuania to Ukraine. Ladies and gentlemen, participants of the conference, around 2 years ago we were shocked by the war in Ukraine. The war changed the lives not only in Ukraine but in the entire world. Lithuania showed its unity with Ukraine. We, Lithuanians, understand Ukrainians and feel for them because in 1990 we fought hard to win our independence. We managed to withstand, and I hope that Ukraine will be able to do the same. Our support is greatly felt, has been greatly felt through those months of war in Ukraine. But even after the victory, Ukraine will need support because the country will have to reconstruct itself. I'm proud of my country that has received more than 80,000 Ukrainians who found their new home in Lithuania. Children attend schools and adults were employed. Ladies and gentlemen, Lithuania will always stand for Ukraine. Ukraine's enemy is our enemy. So I hope that we will continue to be united and put all the efforts towards the victory of Ukraine, so that we can proudly say that this is the victory of us all and of the entire Europe. I really believe that Ukraine will prevail and the European family will flourish. Thank you. Slava Ukraini.
Thank you, dear Ambassador. Now, before we move on to the working part of this conference, let me welcome the chair of the Ukrainian-Lithuanian Friendship Group, Yulia Ovchinnikova. Dear Yulia, thank you for your time. We hope that you will join our debate. I would also like to welcome the chair of the Ukrainian community in Vilnius, Natalia Shertvitienė. Natalia, it's a pleasure to welcome you here. I also know that Igor Lameko, I do apologize, Lameko and Pavlo Yakhorenkov, representatives of young Ukrainians. I do apologize for the pronunciation of the surname. And the advisor of Yulia, Madam Ilya Dekonovich. Now, I have a question. Do you agree with the agenda? Can we approve it? I see no one is objecting. Let me warn the Commission and guests that today at 11:52 we will hear the alarm. It will be just a training fire alarm, so don't be scared. Maybe this will be very symbolic to hear this training fire alarm today, but let me assure you that we are safe here. So we will start with the introduction and presentation of the Lithuanian diaspora organizations. The Lithuanian diaspora has established very broad umbrella organizations. Some have been operating for decades, whereas some of them are rather new, but their experience is equally important. Therefore, now I would kindly ask Dalia Henke, chairperson of the World Lithuanian Community, to talk about the objectives and activities of the organization.
Labą dieną visiems, gerbiama.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Deputy Speaker of the Verkhovna Rada of Ukraine. Dear sisters and brothers Ukrainians, colleagues, members of the Lithuanian World Community, and representatives of the Lithuanian Parliament. The Lithuanian Global World Community was established in 1958. It was registered in the state of Illinois in the United States of America. So it was established 65 years ago. The process itself started from 1949. The objective of the organization was to pursue Lithuania's independence and to help Lithuania break through from the claws of the Soviet Union. So the experience of the organization is very extensive. Currently, the Lithuanian global community contains 55 Lithuanian communities established, as you see from the map, across the continents. There are approximately 250 Lithuanian schools. The figures are fluctuating. We have dance clubs, literature clubs, various foundations, and so on. The Lithuanian World Union is also in place. And as it has been said, ever new communities are being established. There are plans to establish a community in Mexico. We've heard that over a third of Lithuanian nation live beyond the borders of Lithuania. So they live in foreign countries, they raise children, they settle their lives there. And they sometimes come back to Lithuania only to have their burial places here. So the world has been changing. The geopolitical situation has been changing. Lithuania has been changing as well with the changing of the Lithuanian world community. However, our mission and vision remain the same. We were born Lithuanians. We therefore have to remain Lithuanians. The mission of the Lithuanian world community is to unite Lithuanians living abroad, to preserve Lithuanian identity, to preserve the Lithuanian language, to strengthen our identity, and to transfer our identity to future generations, and to foster and strengthen relations with Lithuania. The values for the board have remained the same. That's the Lithuanian identity, citizenship, and solidarity. We maintain solidarity with Lithuania as well as with Ukraine. Now, when it comes to the political structure of the organization, which was formed back in 1965, we are operating under the constitution of the Lithuanian world community. The highest managing body is the Seimo assembly of the world Lithuanian community. So we hold the Seims of the Lithuanian world community every 3 years here in the Lithuanian Parliament, which demonstrates that we have maintained very close relations with the highest legislative institution in Lithuania and the diaspora. Here you see the chairs of the Lithuanian world community, and we elect our representative bodies. Currently, the board consists of members from 9 countries. This shows the international nature of the board. We work in the areas that are established by the Seimo of the Lithuanian world community. The 17th Seimas that gathered in summer this year identified the areas of work: education, culture, sports, finance, public affairs, development and sustainability, economic cooperation. We the board always has the chair of the Union of the World Lithuanian Youth. The directions of the strategic plan of the Lithuanian Well community are directed by the events in Lithuania and globally, but some of the directives remain the same because it is related to the preservation of the Lithuanian identity, active and civic Lithuanian diaspora. I'll talk about that later on. Solidarity with Lithuania and solidarity with Ukraine. Our fourth strategic direction is Lithuania's security and mobilization, concentration. If this day X comes and we are trying to draw experience from our Ukrainian brothers and sisters, I'm not going to speak about sustainability because we have to strengthen our Lithuanian communities abroad. It is also very important for me to share the information as to how we work and how we strengthen the relations with Lithuania. We are learning from each other. I've been the chairperson of the Lithuanian Well community since 2003, and I witnessed the changes in the functioning of our organization. The Vice Minister of Foreign Affairs has mentioned that this term of legislature has focused quite intensely on the policy of diaspora, but it should be noted that we are very happy that we have the Commission of the Seimas of the Republic of Lithuania and the Lithuanian Well community for 30 years now. Previously, the Commission was that of the United States of America, but currently this Commission brings together 10 representatives from across the world, from different continents, and representatives from various political parties. It is the very place that we develop and shape the policy of diaspora. And this is the place where we talk about the challenges that the diaspora faces, and we try to address those problems. We also talk about the talk about the global perspective as seen from the perspective of Lithuanian communities globally. We also try to ensure that we work with the municipal institutions as well. There's a separate commission for that, which means that we actively work with ministers. Apart from working with the Lithuanian Parliament, we work with the government institutions. The Commission meets twice a year, depending on their need. It is very important to note that there is a working group headed by the Vice Minister of Foreign Affairs, Mr. Meilunas. The work is very active in that working group because we we submit quite a lot of proposals when it comes to various programs intended for the Lithuanian diaspora. We cooperate directly with the Foreign Affairs Minister, Ministry of Culture, Ministry of Education, as well as with Lithuanian municipalities. This is very important for Lithuania. In Europe, currently there's a lack of staff who could contribute to economic breakthrough. Lithuania also faces with the same problems. But I believe that Lithuanians will come back to Lithuania once they have a Lithuanian passport and once they come back to the municipalities from which they had left, and to the territories in which their parents had lived. Now, when it comes to the areas of cooperation, it should be noted that we have communities in different regions. We cooperate with Lithuanian institutions and organizations. I see the representatives of Global Lithuania Leaders. They are our constant partners and supporters. Let me briefly talk about international organizations. We work with the Ukrainian Global Congress. I'll briefly mention that since 2014, the Lithuanian World Community Assemblies adopted various resolutions in support of Ukraine. So we have been adopting resolutions since 2014, and we are kindly asking our members to share and disseminate those resolutions among their members, as well as to send those resolutions to the governments of the countries that they live in. We also kindly ask to support our communities to support Ukraine in every possible way and to provide humanitarian assistance. For example, in Germany, there are a lot of organizations that provide support to Ukrainian women and children. Unfortunately, not all women can speak German or English. Therefore, we do appreciate the support that can be provided to them from people who can speak Russian. We know that members of our communities participated and organized quite a few rallies in support of Ukraine and against Russia. Let me also mention of the memorandum signed in 2018 between the Lithuanian World Community and the Ukrainian World Congress. This memorandum was signed in cooperation with representatives from Polish, Estonian, and Latvian organizations. Hopefully that we will be able to join our efforts for the cause of victory of Ukraine. To conclude, let me introduce a few projects that we've been engaged in, because some of the projects are related to Ukraine. The project, the one that has already been completed, is we erected the sculpture of Angel in Trakai. We also arrange the Day of Global Lithuanians. We fight for the well-being and prosperity of Lithuania, despite the fact that we live in different countries. I would also like to express my appreciation of the book that the Lithuanian Global Community is writing. So some might think that writing books is quite an old-fashioned practice, but still it's a very good one. Let me invite all Lithuanians abroad, as well as Ukrainians, to participate in the Song Festival in June 2024. We will celebrate the World Lithuanian Day, and the Ukrainian community in Lithuania will receive special attention during those days. Therefore, I kindly ask Lithuanian diaspora to actively register for the festival. There will be a campus of the Lithuanian World Community. We will show what we are engaged in. We will introduce our community. We're going to speak about the future activities and what we can do to build bridges between the Lithuanian and Ukrainian diaspora. Hopefully we will no longer deal with the issue of dual citizenship, because on the 12th of May 2024 there will be a referendum on dual citizenship, and this issue will ultimately be solved. Also, let me note of the Lithuanian sports games to be organized in 2025 in Palanga town. This sports games bring together Lithuanians from every corner of Lithuania. And we are very happy that we bring people together. Hopefully, we will dance in 24 and engage in sporting events in 2025 to strengthen our democratic state. European the Days of Lithuanian Culture is yet another event that is organized in Belgium in 2025. The Lithuanian world community has also been engaged in other initiatives as well. They sometimes are a challenge. We have the Lithuanian World Community Future Foundation, and we do learn from the Ukrainian World Congress, which is financially independent. And correct me if I am wrong, the Congress has funds that are worth millions. Therefore, we can learn from President Zelensky, who is traveling the world in various missions in the United States and other countries. And he is always accompanied by the leader of the Ukrainian World Congress. So this is the lesson that we can learn from the Ukrainian nation. So when President Zelensky walks together with a representative of the Ukrainian diaspora, well, this sends a very strong message. Referendums on dual citizenship is an eternal problem that has not been solved since 2006. Well, we do need a positive answer in this referendum, because a positive referendum would make Lithuania stronger. We have to preserve our citizens not only here in Lithuania, but we have to preserve those who live abroad and those who were born abroad. And we have to unite our efforts to ensure that the referendum brings positive outcomes. And I would kindly ask the Ukrainian diaspora to encourage Lithuanians to come to a referendum and to vote in favor of dual citizenship. Now, I'm not going to speak a lot about the money. We have some active assets in the Foundation for the Administration of the Work of the Lithuanian World Community. Well, we work differently when it comes to finances in comparison to the Ukrainian World Congress. But I hope that the day comes when we will no longer need to support Ukraine, and we will be allocate our finances to other fields. But now our priority is Ukraine. Even we provide support to Lithuanians who stayed in Ukraine. We supported 10 families last year. We provided support for their Christmas, and hope that we will be able to continue with the support this year as well. Let me also mention that we will be able to welcome Ukrainians in the Lithuanian Diaspora Center here in Vilnius. So, well, Lithuania is a diaspora state. Vilnius is a center, a capital of all Lithuanians residing abroad. Therefore, the 700th anniversary of the capital city of Vilnius provides us with another opportunity to bring diaspora together, to talk about the history of diaspora, to talk about the ways we functioned during the Soviet Union, to talk about the 3 waves of emigration, and to talk about modern migration and modern diaspora. Also, the Lithuanian Diaspora Center could be the place to Lithuanians, for Lithuanians to access information on the diaspora of Lithuania and its long-standing history. Therefore, well, let's think of how we could join our efforts together. Thank you for your attention. And, well, to conclude, let me invite the Lithuanian Welcome Unity leaders and representatives to continue supporting Ukraine, to continue fighting for the freedom of Ukraine, because freedom of Ukraine is the freedom of Lithuania, to continue putting pressure on the respective governments of the countries that they reside to be responsible for providing support and to commit to provide support to Ukraine. And I personally can assure you that both me and my colleagues have supported and will continue to support Ukraine as long as it needs. Slava Ukraine.
Thank you, Dalia. Well, while listening to you, I thought, well, you invited Lithuanians and Ukrainians into the festival of World Lithuanians that will coincide with the Song Festival. You also mentioned the referendum on the dual citizenship. I thought that I would like to celebrate two things on that day: a successful referendum on the dual citizenship and Ukraine's victory. So let us focus on our assistance to Ukraine, because this is the first most important thing for all of us. Now I would like to give the floor to Antanas Paukštys, member of the board of the Union of World Lithuanian Youth. Antanas is here. Great. I want to ask you, dear speakers, please don't rush. You are being translated into the Ukrainian language, so please don't rush and don't speak with your language.
Taip. Gerai, sveiki visi.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Antanas Paukštys, and today I want to represent the Union of World Lithuanian Youth in this sitting. As in any organization, we have the beginning or the establishment. We were established in 1972 during the Second World Lithuanian Youth Congress in the USA. Before the re-establishment of Lithuania's independence, our organization joined other diaspora organizations and spread the information actively on Lithuania's occupation, on Lithuania striving to regain its independence. Also wrote petitions and appeals, organized different rallies asking for non-recognition of Lithuanian occupation. After Lithuania's independence, our organization had to draw its new goals, because the goal of Lithuania's independence had been achieved. So our union was the organization that other people joined in So these were voluntary emigres who wanted to foster Lithuanian identity and culture in the countries they resided in. As we look at our organization, at our union as an organization, it is independent, non-political, voluntary youth organization. Our main objective is to unite Lithuanian youth around the world and to foster the relations between organizations and to foster cooperation among the organizations to represent the interests of Lithuanian youth living abroad. Currently, we are engaged in 21 countries with youth unions established there, and they cooperate with our union constantly and foster active relations. We're looking for ways to establish new unions and to establish new communities. We understand that in some countries the activities of unions is being suspended or not that active. Therefore, we are trying to revive the activities of the unions and to put in our own efforts into that. Today we speak about Ukraine. I also want to mention that we also had our contacts with the Ukrainian youth organizations. Now this contact has been broken. We want to revive it. We want to revive cooperation with those young people who would wish to do that or wish to join the network of diaspora youth unions. Speaking about our partnerships and our cooperation with Lithuanian institutions, on the slides you can see all our partners. We have 17 partners that we have active engagement with. This is active strategic partnership. So basically, this is World Lithuanian Community, Global Lithuanian Leaders, and the Global Youth Unit under the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. We also cooperate with the Council of Lithuanian Youth Organizations and other organizations that you can see on the slide. It is equally important to speak about the structure of our union. We have a very simple structure. We have different regional unions in certain territories of countries, and regional unions delegate representatives to the Congress, Youth Congress. I've mentioned it before. I would like to speak more about this. I will give an example of our last Congress. It was held this summer. It was held in the USA and Canada concurrently. Around 100 representatives from 18 countries around the world participated in the Congress. We adopted 4 resolutions, and we also decided on the next Congress, the place of the next Congress, and we decided to hold the next Congress in Iceland next year. The council also was elected during the Congress. You can see our faces. You can see Agita, our chairperson. and Simonas, who is responsible for our finances, Alejandro, our liaison coordinator, Elena, our secretary, Ingrid, our deputy chairman, and I'm coordinator of public relations, and we also have Gabriela, who is a coordinator of public affairs. When we speak about decisions and resolutions, it should be mentioned that during the last Congress, we adopted a resolution on support for Ukraine and strengthening national resilience. And in this resolution, we expressed our strong support to Ukraine's sovereignty and Ukraine's fight with authoritarianism. We also decided to express our wish on behalf of the Lithuanian youth to contribute to the strengthening of a national identity. I would like to read this resolution and to hand it to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Resolution on the support to Ukraine and strengthening national resistance. Union of the Lithuanian World Youth, representing 18 countries, including Canada, USA, Poland, the Netherlands, France, Russia, Sweden, Switzerland, Uruguay, and Venezuela, considering ourselves part of one global Lithuania, strongly support Ukraine's sovereignty, Ukraine's independence, and territorial integrity, condemn the actions of Russia and its allies, and call on Lithuanian partners and partners around the world to continue supporting Ukraine and to ask for accountability of Russia, express their concern on the geopolitical tensions in Eastern Europe, support the strengthening of national resilience in Lithuania, and encourage Lithuanian institutions to include Lithuanian diaspora and Lithuanian diaspora institutions into the national defense in order to strengthen the cooperation between Lithuania and its diaspora, and calls for participation of young people in national defense military service outside the territory of Lithuania, and encourage diaspora organizations to focus on matters of national resilience. I want to hand in this resolution to the representative of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Thank you, Antanas. We have Lina Zhukauskaitė, Global Lithuania representative from the Global Lithuania Department from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Do you have the resolution in the English language? Because Ukrainian representatives would like to see it. Well, actually, originally we had the English version. We can actually send this English version to the Ukrainian representatives. So can I hand in this resolution to the representative of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs? I hope that this presentation helped you to better understand our organization and its activities, and we hope that our union will be called Global Vilnius, that is fostering diaspora in every possible way. Thank you for your attention. Slava Ukraini.
Ačiū labai. Ačiū.
Thank you. And now I would like to give the floor to the head of Global Lithuanian Leaders, Marija Šaraitė. The organization is the Organization for Lithuanian Young Professionals, Global Lithuanian Leaders.
Lėčiau vertėjams, bet šiaip trumpiau. Tai per 6. Sveiki, gerbimieji.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. First and foremost, let me thank you for the invitation to present the organization here. Our organization has supported Ukraine from the very first day of war against Ukraine. We have prioritized Ukraine, therefore it's a pleasure for me to be here today and to share the main information about our organization. I hope this will inspire you and show some new opportunities for the Ukrainian diaspora and for cooperation between us. The Global Lithuanian Leaders, as the colleague has told, is a very young organization. The idea to establish the organization emerged some 15 years ago during the Lithuanian World Forum. We talked about the brain drain and about the strong entrepreneurs who work globally and who pursue relations with Lithuania. Some active people back then realized that there are quite a lot of ideas and activities which could be united by some NGO. So we have started our work since 2010 as the network of global Lithuanian professionals. We wanted to create value for Lithuania, to contribute to the progress of Lithuania, and to establish the network of Lithuanian professionals. So what are the ways that we are engaging in this? I'll be very brief. The major thing is building bridges between the diaspora and Lithuania. So first, it is very important to identify the people, to attract them, to use various communication means, and to maintain those contacts. We have approximately 2,500 members who live across several countries. We work on the international level. The biggest. We also have professional clubs, so we communicate regularly and we maintain relations with the network. Another important element is meeting with each other. As the organization, we have certain traditions. We have to meet with each other. We have to establish the space where we could learn about each other and where we could speak about Lithuania. To ensure that, we have various formats for meeting. It is very important to ensure that activities are taking place not only during the meetings, but outside them. We have therefore developed special programs for that purpose. So, one of the oldest programs is Business Advisors. We have brought together Lithuanian businesses that are interested in foreign markets with diaspora professionals from various countries and from various business industries. So we try to develop the international nature of our businesses. We try to attract investment to Lithuania and to ensure feedback. As you see, we started one program. Unfortunately, because of the war in Ukraine, it's the program for Ukraine that was established on our initiative. It had several parallel groups. Our wish was to engage Lithuanian businesses working in international businesses and to try to influence businesses to withdraw from the Russian Federation. That was one field of our work. So we sent over 500 letters to high-level managers, Lithuanians. This was followed by various meetings and some other activities. I'll mention a few more things. We have a very important tradition which has been fostered since its very establishment, irrespective of the approach of our society towards the diaspora and irrespective of the geopolitical situation. We always wanted to show that there is a number of people who live abroad and who contribute for the benefit of Lithuania. We have the Global Lithuanian Awards. It has been in place for 12 years already. And again, I'll be very brief. We have a map covering the major hubs of our professionals where these clubs have been established. Here you see the photo from the Global Lithuanian Awards. Last year, the Global Lithuanian Awards featured another, yet a separate category for diaspora leaders who were very active and who contributed to supporting Ukraine. We drew attention to the fact that both Lithuanians here in the country and Lithuanians from the diaspora contributed to supporting Ukraine. This year's Global Lithuanian Awards will also feature some awards for those who supported Ukraine. You know well the Blue-Yellow organization. Its founder, John Oman, has been a member of our network for quite a long time. And we also have this digital soldier. We also have some summer events that are aimed at sharing experience and building competition. It's called the GLL Summer Gathering. We organize strategic discussions during which we talk about Ukraine. We talk what has been done and what we are planning to do. We engage Ukrainian representatives to this gathering. We also hold pro-club summits, which involves professionals from the professional clubs from across the world. We talk about various continuous matters, about the challenges that we face. We hold the meetings in various formats, and we talk about Ukraine. So this was in brief the information about the activities of the organization. Hopefully you heard something new and important for you. Here you see my contact details, and if you have some additional questions, you are welcome to contact us, and we will be happy to help you. Slava to Ukraine. Thank you. I hope that you will stay with us until the end of the meeting. We will start discussions later on. I thank Lithuanian diaspora organizations who presented the activities. The cooperation of these organizations with Lithuanian institutions is extremely important. Therefore, today I would like to ask the presentation of engagement of Lithuanian institutions with the diaspora. And first of all, I would like to give the floor to Lina Žukauskaitė, Global Lithuania Department of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Good morning. Members of the Commission, ladies and gentlemen, it is a pleasure for me to be able to present the policy of Lithuanian diaspora, its challenges, and to share my experience, our experience with our Ukrainian brothers and sisters. As has already been mentioned, in Lithuania, around 2.87 million people live in Lithuania.
And we have around 1.3 million Lithuanians living abroad, which is around 30% of Lithuanian nation living abroad. We admit that this is a great share of the Lithuanian nation, and therefore diaspora policy is very important in order to make this part of the nation feel as an integral part of Lithuania. The greatest Lithuanian communities live in the United States of America, in the United Kingdom, Ireland, Norway, Germany, Spain, and other countries. Strategic Guidelines Global Lithuania. In 2011, the function of coordination of diaspora policy was given to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and the first program of Global Lithuania was adopted. The program was implemented for 10 years. In 2022, the second phase started with the adoption of Strategic Guidelines Global Lithuania, and they are being implemented through triennial action plans. The coordinator of this initiative is the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. What is the process of implementing diaspora policy in Lithuania? In Lithuania, our aim is to have several institutions responsible for the implementation of this policy according to their competences. Diaspora, working with engagement with the diaspora, inclusion of the diaspora is an integral part of the activities of every institution according to its respective competences. The institutions implement the diaspora policy from the budget of municipalities or the budget line of the institution. In 2012, 13 state institutions joined the diaspora policy implementation, and we see in 2022, when new strategic guidelines were adopted, we already had 30 state institutions which realized that diaspora is an integral part of the activities and devoted human resources, financial appropriations for that. Municipalities were invited also to join. First, we had 7 in 2022, and for 2024, we have the action plan, and we will have 33 state institutions and 42 municipalities engaged in the implementation of this policy. This is the funding of diaspora policy. These figures are in millions. In 2022, we have already 9 million euros allocated for the implementation of diaspora policy. Henke mentioned some public institutions of cooperation between Lithuanian institutions and Lithuanian world communities. We have the World Lithuanian Community Commission, a Lithuanian Diaspora Affairs Coordination Commission. There is an interinstitutional working group for the implementation of diaspora policy under the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Economic Diplomacy Council also sees the engagement of the World Lithuanian Community under the Foreign Affairs Ministry. Youth Affairs Council also has engagements with the Union of World Lithuanian Youth. World Lithuanian community and regional communities are the objects of our cooperation. There's a list of other organizations that we are engaged with. Parishes, different foundations, art clubs, sports clubs, charity organizations, and scout organizations, riflers organizations that are very active with the diaspora. including other organizations. We have to admit, unfortunately, that this is a challenge and one of the most important directions of our work, which is to increase human resources in implementing the diaspora policies. We see that around 5% of our diaspora take part in the implementation of this policy. The strategic objectives of the Guidelines Global Lithuania, which have already been mentioned. This is the fostering of national identity, including Lithuanian language education, community fostering, organizational strengthening, fostering of traditional Lithuanian culture, developing of modern, innovative, open, and Lithuanian identity, and also encouragement of sports activities and their development. We also have Laurynas Misevičius, who works very actively in this area. Involvement in life in Lithuania, this is our second objective, which includes activities such as knowing the diaspora. We have to be aware of the diaspora, we have to be aware of its interests, also enabling and empowering diaspora, evaluation of diaspora, fostering citizenship among the diaspora, economic involvement, and the third direction that has been more and more important is return to Lithuania. For 3 years, the number of Lithuanians returning to Lithuania is much bigger than those emigrating from Lithuania. So our Ministry of Foreign Affairs is also responsible for this area. Therefore, we have a lot of endeavors in this area. Before that, institutions had different measures that were targeted at Lithuanian nationals and their return to Lithuania and their integration back into the Lithuanian society. Therefore, today our Return to Lithuania unit is very active on this policy. Since the 1st of January, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs will open one-stop shop services for people returning to Lithuania and wishing to integrate. It also is related to the policies and activities of return of political prisoners, deputies, of people in countries stricken by humanitarian crisis. Fortunately, these are not only plans, but some results have already been achieved. And here we have former chair of the Union of World Lithuanian Youth who came back to Lithuania and now works in the Lithuanian diplomatic service. And we have similar examples of that. We are happy that young people do return to Lithuania and even work in the diplomatic service of Lithuania. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs, as a coordinator, is engaged in cooperation with involved institutions and prepare the triennial plans, prepare reports, and coordinate the activities of diplomatic representations and consular services. The role of diplomatic representations is extremely important. We also organized annual opinion poll of the diaspora, which helps us to get new knowledge and understanding about the lives of the diaspora and what are the advantages and disadvantages of our policy, diaspora policy implementation. We also provide information on Lithuanian diaspora abroad. We organize trainings. with the greatest leaders of Lithuanian communities. We also organize different competitions and support projects and promote Lithuanian language education, try to attract Lithuanian youth to return and study in Lithuania. We also provide an award of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs for the merits to Lithuania. We publish a newsletter, provide information to diaspora organizations, and are developing a website, Global Lithuania, that will include all the information for diaspora and those who are planning to return to Lithuania. The Ministry of Education, well, I will not discuss that because my colleague from the Ministry of Education will speak. We are very happy about our cooperation and active work of the Ministry of Education in strengthening Lithuanian language education abroad. We've seen a great breakthrough this year when a new provision on funding of Lithuanian language education was adopted. We know that the situation in schools and among teachers and school masters, headmasters has changed because there stronger possibilities exist for Lithuanian language education, and there's no need to think about additional funds. All this can be covered by the Ministry of Education, Science and Sport. I will not speak much about the sports area, but Lithuanian community sports games are organized every 3 years, and different diaspora projects in the area of sports are being funded. The Ministry of Culture has also a very active role in helping diaspora organizations and art clubs to strengthen Lithuanian national identity. This is being done through Lithuanian Culture Council that announces tenders for funding. There's also funding for the preservation of cultural heritage important for Lithuania, and that is abroad. Different art clubs are being funded. Coordination of the activities is ensured, including song festivals abroad and Lithuania. And we hope that next year this song festival will see many thousands of Lithuanians coming. Well, I have to finish my presentation, but still much has to be mentioned. I will try to be brief. We are renewing the database on Lithuanian heritage abroad. The digitalization of the archives is carried on. There are different other ministries that are engaged in other activities, such as the Ministry of Social Security and Labor. We have the new initiative on a scholarship for youth diaspora representatives who study in Lithuania and go on internship to Lithuania. We're also planning not only to help Lithuanian diaspora in employment, but also with the reintegration in Lithuania. Other activities include enhancement of Lithuanian export, talent attraction programs, and other programs such as Create for Lithuania. Around 80% of the program engaging Lithuanians and the encouragement to work in Lithuania finally remain to work in Lithuania. The Ministry of National Defense has joined our cooperation with the Lithuanian diaspora. When the war in Ukraine started, the ministry understood the importance of Lithuanian diaspora. Now different trainings are being organized for the diaspora on civic resistance, hybrid wars. Lithuanian radio and television are also very active in working with us. There is a Lituanica television that is dedicated for the diaspora, and it also has separate columns for the diaspora. And there is LRT English website for the Lithuanian diaspora not speaking Lithuanian, and different programs are being broadcast on the diaspora. I did not overview all the activities and all the institutions because we have a lot. I just mentioned the key ones, and I was very brief because the number of activities is really great. I want to show you this slide before ending my presentation. This is a banner of Global Lithuania project. We try to include the pictures, photographs of different rallies and activities in support of Ukraine. And actually we had a great number of those photographs, and we could not fit in all of them. And I'm very happy about the Lithuanian diaspora that was very active in supporting Ukraine, no matter in which corner of the world they lived. The Department of Global Lithuania has 3 units. Is ready to share all the experience on the implementation of diaspora policy with our colleagues in Ukraine. And we really do it sincerely. And we say together until the victory.
Thank you for a truly extensive and comprehensive presentation. And I hope you would be able to share this presentation with the participants of the conference, because it contains quite a lot of useful information. As Lina has mentioned, and it was said before, the education of Lithuanian language is among the priorities of the Lithuanian diaspora and the institutions of Lithuania. Our objective is to preserve Lithuanian identity, which is related to the Lithuanian language, to the Lithuanian history, traditions, and customs. Now let me give the floor to the head of the Division of Lithuanians Living Abroad from the Ministry of Education, Science and Sport, Virginija Rinkevičienė. Good afternoon, members of the Commission of the Seimas and the Lithuanian World Community, participants of the conference. If you allow me, I'll talk about the Lithuanian education. This has been referred to quite a few times today. As we see, The Lithuanian language for the diaspora is very important because the diaspora would not be able to exist without the language. I will look at the period of 10 years of the Lithuanian education because it is this year that we're celebrating the 10 years anniversary when the Minister of Education, Science and Sport was assigned all the functions related to the education. And I should mention formal education, informal education, as well as Sunday schools, Lithuanian Baltic language centers in various universities. Another important area is the integration of Lithuanians abroad into the Lithuanian education system. The network of Lithuanian education schools abroad has changed over the period of 10 years. We see that the number of formal education schools has decreased, but now we have schools in Poland, Latvia, and Germany. We have Lithuanian units in European schools. We closely cooperate with the Lithuanian school that is functioning in Moscow. The Belarusian regime has unfortunately closed 2 Lithuanian schools in Belarus. Non-formal education. When it comes to non-formal education, the number of institutions in the last 10 years has increased, but the number of schools has decreased in our ethnic lands, not because of the ban of the Belarusian regime to conduct Lithuanian education, but also because of the activities of the Lithuanian teachers in the Kaliningrad region were banned. And the schools started to stop teaching Lithuanian in their schools. We have Lithuanian schools in Ukraine. That's Mikalojus Konstantinas Čiurlionis Lithuanian School in Lviv. Yuri Fetkovich University also has the Baltic Studies Department, and also there are Baltic studies centers in other Ukrainian universities. It should be mentioned that in 2019, for the first time in the history of the Ukrainian universities, the bachelor students got the opportunity to study Lithuanian language from this year on. There's a unique bachelor's program of Polish studies. The founder of this center is Igor Koroliev of Lithuanian descent. I'd like to express my appreciation of the fact that he became the winner of the award of the Lithuanian language teacher that was established by the ministry. Let me also mention that with the Institute of the Lithuanian language, the professor worked to develop the Lithuanian-Ukrainian dictionary. This is the first dictionary of the kind. There are several areas to strengthen Lithuanian education abroad. The mission of our education is to strengthen education content through the education instruments to facilitate the necessary environment, to ensure that classes are interesting, to develop a special assessment system, and so on and so forth. Providing support for teachers is also very important through increasing and strengthening their competences, through assessing and acknowledging their teacher qualifications, and providing methodological support for them. We also focus a lot on strengthening the communities of Lithuanian schools through engaging them in the educational activities that are established in Lithuania. We also focus on the cooperation of such schools. The key actions have been foreseen in the government program of this legislative term. We intend to improved Lithuanian registers. We've included all Lithuanian schools abroad into the register. We've included all the teachers and students into the register. The register is very important for the engagement of diaspora teachers and students and community into the Lithuanian education system. I'm not going to speak about the mechanism for the fostering and supporting the mechanism of Lithuanian education because it has been mentioned by the previous speaker. We have also we all contributed to the development of various programs, teaching aids, and I'm very happy to hear the response from San Diego teacher, Birute Gražytė, who participated in the preparation of those teaching aids. She said that this teaching aid contains a lot of love. We try to sincerely respond to the needs of the children living abroad and to develop an interactive and quality content for the students. I know how much work Lithuanian school teachers have put into their daily work. Therefore, I believe that this teaching aid will be of assistance to them and help them understand how important and special Lithuanian language is today. I hope that every child will understand that he contributes to the development and shaping of Lithuania. It is also very important to have a testing system so that we could check what they have learned. The children from the diaspora can already have exams of A1 and B levels. Grown-ups can take a C1 test. We also try to respond to the school to the needs of the Lithuanian schools, and we issue certificates. Now, these certificates reflect not only the level of the Lithuanian language they can speak, but also the results related to every lingual area, that is speaking, writing, and so on and so forth. We also try to facilitate conditions for those who provide Lithuanian language training to develop their competencies. Let me take note that for the first time ever, we provided the teachers of the Lithuanian schools who don't have the education, the proper education, to take bachelor studies and become teachers. These studies are special because they are designed to respond to the needs of the Lithuanian schools abroad and to the possibilities of the teachers, which means that the studies will take place in a mixed mode, both remotely and directly. The project has already started this month. We already welcome the applications so that we could know how many teachers are willing to study. And once we have those people, we will establish a group of such students. We provide funding for Lithuanian education programs in order to ensure that diaspora abroad knows the history of Lithuania, fosters identity, and maintains contacts with Lithuania. In 2023, 92 education projects received funding and 25 sporting projects. We focused a lot on summer camps for children of diaspora here in Lithuania. The Lithuanian diaspora integration into the Lithuanian education system is very important. In 2019, the Lithuanian Ministry of Education and program Create for Lithuania initiated a network for diaspora children. This network is aimed at strengthening the teaching of Lithuanian abroad and of engaging children into the system. The network then comprised of several schools. Now we currently have 78 schools in this network. The network does not cover all the schools. However, the family that comes from abroad can apply to any school with a request to accept their child. And every school has the duty to provide conditions for the child to be integrated into the Lithuanian education system. The Lithuanians living abroad are invited to study here in Lithuania. They receive funding from the state budget. They get an additional score to their competition score. They also receive some financial support. And Vilnius Home here in Lithuania houses the club of students, and this club brings together students from abroad, helps them adapt here in Lithuania. We always work together with our partners, that is the Education Commission of the Lithuanian Well Community, the Association of Lithuanian Schools, and the chairs of the education commissions of the Lithuanian communities abroad. We identify strategic directions, our objectives, and take steps forward. So thank you for your attention. I hope I've covered quite a lot of information, and you'll find this information useful.
Thank you for your information. Could you please share your material so that we can share it with the participants of the conference? When we spoke about national identity and preserving national identity, it is very important that Lithuanian citizens can exercise their rights and duties, and voting is one of the rights. In some countries, this is a duty or an obligation. Luckily, Lithuania provides voting possibilities for Lithuanian citizens abroad, and the expenses are being covered by Lithuania. I would like to give the floor to Lina Petronienė, Chair of the Central Electoral Commission, to present the voting possibilities for Lithuanian citizens abroad. Well, thank you. You basically made a conclusion of my presentation.
Thank you for the opportunity to participate in this conference, and I'm very happy with this opportunity because we have to make use of the opportunities that we are given. The electoral code ensures that elections are conducted on the basis of the principle of universal, equal, direct suffrage and secret ballot. And for Lithuanians abroad, it is very important that they can vote directly without any intermediaries. Members of the Seimas, presidents of the Republic, members of the Municipal Council, mayors, and members of the Parliament are elected directly by the voters. Now, in all these elections, except for the elections of municipal councils and mayors, citizens of Lithuania have the opportunity to vote. They have the opportunity to vote in diplomatic missions and consular posts of the Republic of Lithuania located abroad, as well as by post. This has been an achievement, in particular by the citizens who live abroad. And from 2020 onwards, during the elections of the Seimas, a single-member constituency of the world Lithuanians is established to ensure that citizens of Lithuania residing in other countries can express their will. The establishment of this constituency depends on the number of the voters in the previous parliamentary elections. The constituency is usually established 1 year before the election, so we are already establishing the constituencies for the next year's elections. Persons living in the territory are entered on the electoral rolls according to their place of residence. Voters abroad must submit an application to be entered in the electoral rolls of the diplomatic missions or consular posts of the Republic of Lithuania. Applications are submitted online. If the voter fails to do so, they can ask help from another voter. I know that some communities help their members and other members of the citizens of the Republic of Lithuania to register. The registration is not difficult. You simply have to submit your personal data, including name, surname, personal identification number, and document number. In the embassy, you will vote. You will also have to indicate whether they will vote by post. In fact, next week, the Central Electoral Commission will already make a list of embassies that will take part in the referendum and presidential elections in May next year, as well as in autumn parliamentary elections. So we will start the registration without the voting commission in place. Since 5 votings will take place over a year, we are not going to ask our citizens abroad to register anew. It will be enough to register once and to put a tick into the box which election they want to participate in. It is also very to note that people can vote even if their IDs are no longer valid, because we do understand that sometimes it is very difficult to have a replacement of the document. But if you are a citizen of the Republic of Lithuania, you can vote with the document that you have in place. The voters who have declared that they have left Lithuania are not entered into the electoral roll until they have registered for voting and declared departure. Those who undeclared departure or those who are abroad, for example, students or on vacation, can also register to vote abroad. And upon registration, voters will be removed from the list of the respective district in Lithuania. Even if the person declared that he left the country, and the person has to come back to Lithuania, he can nevertheless vote in Lithuania. He simply has to come to the polling station, fill in the application, and vote. We know that if you have declared that you live abroad, you have the possibility to vote, but you simply have to register. You have to note that you have changed the place of voting. As I have mentioned, registration usually starts 3 months before the election. This year we are planning to start the registration 5 months before the referendum, so that everyone could manage to register. About 90% of voters who vote by post receive voting documents and can send them for free of charge. Or the Central Electoral Commission and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs pay for the postal expenses. And postal expenses for sending back are paid to voters in foreign countries where diplomatic missions of the Republic of Lithuania are located. Every voter who registers to vote by post abroad will receive a voter card, ballot paper, or ballot papers, depending on the electoral system. And on the elections that take place, they also receive 3 envelopes, information about the voting procedure. The procedure itself is very similar to that of early voting in Lithuania. In hospitals, the ballot papers are placed in an envelope and sealed. Then this envelope and the voter card for the identification of the voter are placed in another envelope, and this envelope placed in the envelope sent by post. The procedure might seem very complicated, but this is done to ensure that the procedure is not violated and that the voter does not vote twice. This allows to check whether the voter voted only once, and if it is established that the voter has already voted before, his envelopes no longer participate in the counting votes. The procedure, and this allows to ensure the secrecy of votes. So this big envelope then is sent to the representation. I believe that this is an advantage for Lithuania because I know that there are countries where such envelopes are sent to the capitals, and the procedure becomes even more complex. And we are very happy that Lithuanian votes are sent directly to the consular representation, to the missions or consular posts. Now, where there are small representations and many voters, the Central Electoral Commission, before every election, develops the packages of information to help the voting commissions in the embassies ensure a smooth process of the voting. And next Thursday, as I have said, we're going to adopt the list of embassies where voting could take place. The embassies, the voting will have to be arranged during the working hours of the embassy. The polling districts will be closed at 8 p.m. Lithuanian time. It is very important to remember, we do understand that there are time zones, but the election process has its own requirements. So consular missions representations will develop their own documents, their tables, and people will have to authenticate their identity. They will be able to check where they voted and what way they voted. So if they have any questions, they can just access the website and they will see all the necessary information. When it comes the upcoming elections, there will be 8 to 9 additional polling stations to meet the needs. In the last parliamentary election, 70 places were allowed to vote abroad. There was an opportunity to observe elections in embassies and consular posts, which means that the elections can be observed not only in the embassies of the Republic of Lithuania, but in other embassies as well. This helps to ensure fair and just elections, and it has been mentioned, expenses related to the organizations of voting abroad are paid from the state budget, allocated to the Central Electoral Commission for the organization and conduct of elections. This funding is allocated under the agreement between the Central Electoral Commission and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs on the use of the state budget funds for the preparation of elections. I'll finish at that. Thank you.
Thank you. Dear Lena, well, actually, I don't envy the interpreters who are trying to catch up with you. I hope that they manage to do that. We have here the member of the Central Electoral Commission of Ukraine, Sergei Pasaulio. Mr. Sergei, do you hear me? I can see your name on the screen. And maybe he will join us later on. When I spoke to Elena Kondratyuk, I asked her to comment on holding elections in diplomatic services and on possibilities of for Lithuanian citizens to vote abroad. Since this is a great challenge for Ukraine in organizing future elections, bearing in mind the great diaspora of Ukrainians living abroad. Thank you, Sergei, for joining us now. We actually completed with the presentations on the Lithuanian side and now move to the Ukrainian reactions and contributions. Could you react and tell us about the challenges faced by the Ukrainian Central Electoral Commission in the preparation to organize elections. We do not know whether elections will be held in the near future, or perhaps you need any experience or assistance from Lithuania.
Доброго дня всім. Перш за все.
Good afternoon. Thank you for the possibility to be here in this event and to listen to the presentations about the active engagement of world Lithuanian communities. On our part, the Central Electoral Commission of Ukraine faces great challenges in organizing elections in the context of the war and post-war. We're very preoccupied about the possibility of Ukrainians and partners to vote. Current laws provide that during the war, elections are not held. Therefore, we understand that elections will be held after our victory. In the meantime, we have to prepare for the coming elections. And we know that a big number of Ukrainian citizens are forced to live abroad. And this is a huge challenge for us. We see so many Ukrainians living in Lithuania, and our laws provide that the voting abroad can be organized in embassies, diplomatic representations, or consular services. We know that with the current numbers, we understand that our diplomatic services will not be able to manage the numbers of voters. Despite the possibility of electronic voting, we know that to organize such voting in a short time is barely impossible for Ukraine. These are new technologies for Ukraine. They are new and unknown for us as voters. And this could bring new challenges in terms of cybersecurity. We are prone to more classical ways of voting that are well known to our voters, voting in electoral districts and polling districts. But we have to think about adequate logistics for our citizens to be able to vote. When we speak about our foreign partners, we look for ways to solve the issues related to voting. I cooperate closely with Lithuanian counterparts. We share our experience, and Lithuania's experience in terms of voting abroad has enabled us to propose to the parliament to increase the number of days for voting abroad. Another challenge that we will be facing was increasing the polling stations abroad. We are searching for solutions in terms of logistics, security, documentation, transferring. The number of staff should also be increased in the polling stations abroad. Therefore, we should cooperate with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and also with the Ukrainian diaspora abroad. When we speak about voting abroad, well, certainly inside our country we are faced with different challenges such as security, We have vast insecure territories due to mines and other explosives. We will also have to make record of the internally displaced persons and refugees. Another challenge during the full invasion was the closure of access to voter data in order to ensure the safety of this data. Therefore, we have to renew this register since it requires adaptation and also attribution of our citizens to new polling stations. Well, if you have any concrete questions, you could ask them. I have a lot of information. I thank you very much for the possibility to join in this conference. Thanks to Olena Kondratiuk. It is a pleasure for me to participate in this conference and also to see our counterparts from the Lithuanian Central Electoral Commission. It is also a pleasure to see Ukrainian flags and signs. Thank you for your support.
Thank you for your invitation. Thank you for accepting our invitation and for telling us about the way the election is conducting in Ukraine. And on behalf of the Commission and on behalf of the Minister of Foreign Affairs, let me tell you that we are ready to give you a hand in case of need, because as I have mentioned, in 2020, our citizens had an opportunity to elect one member of parliament from abroad in the foreign constituency. So we would be very happy to share our experience on that. So thank you once again. It's a pleasure to see you. And I guess this is the least that we could do to you, is to continue focusing on your country. And now, let me turn to dear Julia, chair of the group Friendship between Lithuania and Ukraine. Thank you for coming to Lithuania. Thank you for your previous visits. Dear Julia, could you share your experience when it comes to cooperation with the Ukrainian diaspora, both here in Lithuania and across the world? Dear Dalia, colleagues, it's a pleasure to be here. I sincerely thank you for this wonderful initiative. The presentations that we've heard today are truly inspiring. You provided us with very unique examples as to how unite the efforts and bring together the communities. We have food for thought, what we can learn from you, but we also can share some experience. We have to join our effort to fight the joint enemy that is now trying to destroy the Ukrainian nation. Despite the war, Lithuania has become our second home. It has become a second home for many Ukrainian women and mothers. During the previous visit, Olena and me went to the registration centers. We talked to people who were resettled here from Mariupol and other Ukrainian cities. And this support that you provide on a daily basis is extremely valuable. The Lithuanian world community has helped, and I hope will continue to provide support, including humanitarian support and military support, and will help us survive. In fact, global communities, global diaspora communities are the oasis for cooperation. Therefore, it is very important for Lithuanian and Ukrainian diasporas to be those advocates of their countries. Vytautas Magnus University is a wonderful example This is the experience that we can take from you. We cooperate a lot with young people. There are quite a few cooperation programs, and I was very happy to hear of the cooperation programs of the global community that you have referred to. Thanks to Vytautas Magnus University, as well as the First Lady of Lithuania facilitated numerous projects and allowed us to feel safer, to know that we have brothers and sisters right next to us who help us in our fight. We meet a lot with the Ukrainian global community members. They are truly very good diplomats that have exploited diplomacy instruments such as education and culture for the benefit of our interest. We recently had a meeting with the community of the Ukrainians living in Canada, and the support of such community is very important for us. We need to continue our cooperation. We now want to broaden the activities among young people. We now have several initiatives that could apply the practices that we've heard today. And I hope that the number of such projects will increase in the future. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for the support. Thank you for helping us feel here, not like at home, but feel home. Thank you for your event.
Thank you, Julia. And since you spoke about communities and institutions, in Lithuania we have Madam Natalia, the chair of the Ukrainian community in Lithuania. It is a pleasure to see you. Dear Natalia, could you present the Ukrainian community in Lithuania? Could you speak about the network, the global network of Ukrainian diaspora? Dalia Henke spoke about the Lithuanian world community, about its structural aspects and important breakthroughs for the benefit of the diaspora through the community. Could you share your experience and speak a bit about the global Ukrainian diaspora?
Labą dieną visiems. Ačiū labai.
Good afternoon. Thank you personally to you, Dalia. I also thank the Commission for this important commission and necessary conference. Thank you for the invitation. It is a pleasure that participants of this conference include not only institutions from Lithuania, but also institutions from Ukraine. Ukraine and Lithuania share very deep history. We have a common enemy, as has been mentioned on several occasions. We also share many similarities in terms of our diaspora. I heard many interesting and beautiful presentations with numbers and information on how well the Lithuanian community works. The community that I represent will soon mark its 35th anniversary. We are the only community that represent Ukrainians in the Global Ukrainian Congress. We don't have the overarching organization that would represent all the communities of Ukrainians. In my organization, I have not only Ukrainian patriots, but also Lithuanian patriots. And members of my community are awarded by Lithuanian medals who participated actively in Lithuania's struggle for independence, and we're very proud of that. We're happy that Lithuania appreciates Ukrainian communities in Lithuania. But the greatest challenge is the Ukrainian refugees living in Lithuania on a temporary basis. They are very grateful to Lithuanian people, Lithuanian public authorities for their help. And they feel like home here. Speaking about the differences between the communities, well, you can find those differences. As has been mentioned, focus on the diaspora is very important. The understanding that Lithuanians are the same nation, indivisible nation. I do not know the focus or attitude in Ukraine on that. So far, we have not been appreciated as a diaspora, Ukrainian diaspora. This does not entail financial matters. Well, certainly it is very positive for Lithuania to financially support its diaspora. Well, actually, I have discovered many new things while listening to presentations. And I was happy to see so many Lithuanian institutions involved. But this number actually struck me. All those ministries and municipalities and separate institutions that focus much. I think that Ukraine has much to learn from. Lithuania can set a very good example and become a very good advocate, not only on the global stage, but also set an example of supporting its own diaspora. I think that this conference is very meaningful, and I believe that is useful not only for us Ukrainians living here in Lithuania, but also Ukrainian institutions that hopefully will change their attitude towards the Ukrainian diaspora living abroad. Thank you very much. Well, I thought, well, in July, I spoke to Olena Kondratyuk, Deputy Speaker of the Verkhovna Rada of Ukraine, and her main wish was to learn from the experience of Lithuania cooperating with its diaspora, engaging with its diaspora, and maintaining contacts and relations with the diaspora. A long way has been covered in this area. Much has been done, but today, we might think that nothing can change, but when you look back, you can see a really great achievement. I thank Yulia for coming personally here. I also thank the representative of the Central Electoral Commission of Ukraine and Olena. This shows that you really want to maintain friendly relations and are willing to learn. Ambassador of Ukraine Petro Beshta should be coming soon. We will wait for him. But now, if you allow me, I would like to give the floor to a representative of the youth organization, because we discuss not only Lithuanian and Ukrainian communities, but also the younger generation that is going in the footsteps of the older generation. And we see that it is very important that youth organizations expand and cooperate with other organizations. Could you please introduce yourself and share your experience? You could speak both. Which language should we choose? We have translation, so you can choose. I will speak Ukrainian. I want Ukrainians to know about us too. For 2 months, we have been discussing the youth Ukrainian organization in Lithuania. As a person living in Lithuania for 7 years, I have been engaged in Lithuanian youth organizations. Well, this is a compliment for Lithuanians. I appreciate your activities. The infrastructure of Lithuanian youth organizations is well developed. Ukrainian youth would like to do the same, and as Natalia said, much can be learned here from Lithuania, because as young people, we want to see our country member of the European Union. The exchange of experience and best practice can help us, Ukrainian youth, to discover some new things that can be taken over, so that we, on return to Ukraine, could have an example on how the real, genuine European country should look like. We're open for all those who are willing to join us in the political and cultural context, so I open this invitation.
Ačiū labai.
Thank you. Another guest from the representing youth could speak. Yes, I would also like to contribute. First of all, I want to thank the Lithuanian nation, our brothers and sisters, because the assistance that we are receiving from Lithuania is incredibly major, starting from voluntary assistance and also Lithuanians fighting in Ukraine. So I would like to thank once again for that. Now, turning back to our project, the main objective is that young people abroad, as my colleague has said, could learn from the European experience, because we understand that we will be responsible for Ukraine when Ukraine hits the phase of great changes. Therefore, we need to be able to know, or we need to learn how to do this. We're also faced with a very important challenge, is that not all the Ukrainians will be willing to return back. Some of them have lost their homes. They are faced with fears. It is very human. But we want to show young people that it is important to collect all the efforts here and to direct them towards Ukraine, then return to Ukraine and help to restore it, and to develop stronger ties with European countries, and to develop strong European country in Ukraine. We have made a short opinion poll about those interested in these activities, for example, among university communities, on the basis of university council community, to exchange cultural experience with Lithuanians, to involve other international youth organizations, so that young people would be more involved and have more political literacy. We understand that political literacy skills are very important now, and we should at least have the fundamental knowledge on how, for example, the media works. So our objective is involving young people into political and social activities in order to mobilize all the efforts that we have abroad, in order to collect all the necessary resources to help Ukraine from abroad. So that will be my contribution, and I once again want to thank you for your support.
Ačiū labai.
Thank you indeed. And we have Ambassador of Ukraine, and we are grateful for Your Excellency for your time and for participating in this conference. I would kindly ask you not only to give a welcome address, but also to help me provoke a discussion as to how the diplomatic corps of Ukraine cooperates with the diaspora of the respective state. Because Madam Natalia has mentioned that the relations between the representation, diplomatic representation, and people is of crucial importance, since we have diplomats abroad. We are similar nations. We had to develop cooperation, and the cooperation was not that warm and close previously. So now, Your Excellency Ambassador, could you join in the discussion and tell us how the diplomatic corps cooperates with the Ukrainian diaspora, and of course to welcome the participants?
Apologize immediately for not being able to come earlier. I have 3 conferences in 2 days, so sorry for that. But I'm really very glad to welcome this conference, and I want to start by thanking Dalia and all her team, and Pasaulio Saudargas, everyone who was engaged in preparing this conference. We have a very good cooperation since the start of the war. I remember those difficult days, and immediately Dalia approached me and suggested to provide some kind of support with communication with Lithuanian diaspora worldwide. You have a big force. Lithuanian diaspora is big. It's present in even important countries as our diaspora too, and we have had a very good talks. We arranged a meeting with the representatives of different diaspora units worldwide, and it was so important in those difficult days, because everything was on the line in Ukraine, and any kind of support was very welcome. At those first weeks, the key thing that we needed was we talked about helmets, we talked about protective vests, we talked about medical cars for support, anything that Ukraine badly needed at those times, and the reaction of Lithuanian diaspora was very positive. So my first thanks goes to everyone who supported Ukraine at those difficult times, and now today. This conference, the topic, the focus of it is very important, because we live in times of big transformations, and traditionally foreign services of Ukraine, Lithuania, any other countries, they work closely with diasporas in different countries to promote Ukraine, to provide any kind of support to reforms, to economy, investment, and of course we also take care about the needs of diasporas worldwide, about our people living abroad. But that is also changing a lot, and we need to think and recreate our policies, because for example, as of today, around 8 million of Ukrainians are abroad in different countries worldwide, and that means that the whole concept of diaspora and policies of and cooperation with government has to change, and this type of conferences that discuss these issues are very important. The war is still going on, and that means that Ukraine will continue to fight and will look for any help. So I think that there was a good start of cooperation of our diasporas worldwide, and we talked not only about supporting Ukraine with some sort of humanitarian assistance, but also cooperating and coordinating our efforts. And we still need a lot of support in promoting Ukraine's victory abroad, talking to governments, providing manifestations. And I think that diplomacies and diasporas together can do that well. There are also very important topics on our agenda. It's a European, Euro-Atlantic integration of Ukraine. We are on a track to start negotiations next year, and we hope this very important decision by European Council will be taken in December this year. So the next year we will start technically this negotiations. Our ambition is very high. Ukraine has demonstrated that even in times of war, we are implementing very broad and deep reforms in Ukraine to accommodate all the necessary standards of European Union, and Lithuania as a country, as a government, provides a lot of support in this transformations of Ukraine. In another conference today that I have participated in the morning is the conference organized by the Ukrainian Center with Tautas Magnus University about the transformation of education of Ukraine. So from the beginning, the Ukrainian Center was meant to support Ukrainians that had to flee the war, came to Lithuania, but from the beginning our hope was very strong that this war will last not so long. So from the outset, we discussed with the leadership of university, the government and office of president of Lithuania, the vision of Ukrainian Center, what kind of mission will it have after the war when Ukrainians will return back home. And the idea was to transform Ukrainian Center to the think tank, which will focus on education and on supporting Ukrainian European integration in this particular field, because we all understand how important is education for the future of any country. To build a modern and prosperous state, we need to invest a lot in education. So a lot of things to discuss, and I think that it's a high time for all of us to revisit the idea of policies toward diasporas. We live in the age of networks, and the networks everywhere, they take an advantage. So it depends on how we are able to use this type of networks, how well we communicate and coordinate our efforts and support each other. So I welcome this conference, and I think that we can talk about these things, discuss and find very good solutions and very good potential for practical cooperation among us. On our side, we are always open for cooperation, and we will readily be engaged in any type of cooperation in this field. So thank you, and I wish you good discussions.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Well, you reminded us the first weeks after the beginning of the war, when we all joined online with the representatives of our diaspora all around the world, and you expressed the need. We asked you, what is your need of our help? And we translated this need around the world. And we think that a united diaspora, from the time perspective, has achieved a lot. I repeat that continuously, that Lithuanians living in the USA raised $10 million, and Lithuanian diaspora living in the UK raised 3 million euros for support of Ukraine. And Lithuanian people living around the world raised funds and collected all other resources and sent them to Ukraine. So we have a great example how a united diaspora can help and is first and foremost help for the country that we feel for very much. Thank you very much for finding your time, and you do this all the time. But let me return to the discussion on what is the development of cooperation between the diaspora and diplomatic services. What about the relations between diplomatic services and Ukrainians living abroad? Could you briefly make an overview about that?
We talk and we discuss with our partners in diplomatic service of Lithuania a lot of key points on the agenda, and we try to work and to promote these issues, to find solutions, not only such an established institutions like European Union and NATO, which are of critical importance. We work together and we try to engage our both diasporas to provide those different kinds of support that we need. We also work on the third countries, so to speak, because it's important to work also on the so-called global south. These are the countries that remain outside Europe. It's Africa, Latin America, Asia. We need their support very much in the framework of General Assembly, United Nations system. A lot of decisions are being made there, and we need to work with these countries. We have launched a number of initiatives, even in these difficult times. One of them is Grain from Ukraine initiative that we supported last year, millions of tons of foods, grains to the most poor countries in Africa, and Lithuania was very glad to support this initiative. Next week we will have another food security summit in Ukraine where Lithuania will also participate, and we look forward for further cooperation on that. These are important things. Let's remember about the Euro-Atlantic integration of Ukraine. We hope strongly for the decisions by the Vilnius summit this year, and also the support of people in Lithuania was very strong, and we remember a very prominent initiative of 33,000 Ukrainian flags here, and that means that shows how important is the society approach and discussions and cooperation with people, and I think that works the same way in other countries. We need to promote this position in European states, European capitals, in the United States, Canada, everywhere where we need that this issue of membership of Ukraine is discussed and promoted broadly, and I believe that diaspora of Ukraine and Lithuania cooperate on that and will cooperate on that. We need to work a lot in United States. Next week we have a Washington summit, and we also put great hopes on this summit, and that means that we have to work in every state in United States with every senator, where every representatives, because the decision is in their hands. And I know that Lithuania diaspora played a crucial role when Lithuania was fighting for the membership in NATO, and that was a very huge success on your side. We want to work with other diasporas of our countries, with Polish diaspora, with other Eastern European countries, diasporas in United States on this particular issue, to promote the issue that it will make clear to every American citizen, to every representative, every government representative, that it's impossible to think about the security in Europe, the security strong eastern flank, our countries which are most endangered and feel threat from Russia today and tomorrow, and the only way to move into a stronger position. The most strongest position is to take Ukraine into NATO, and in that way to make eastern flank strongest and to move forward in our defense industry, in cooperation, building strong armies and building that deterrence that will stop Russia in future from even thinking about invading Ukraine or other eastern countries, of which they are continuously talking and will talk, because this is the essence of their policies. Of course, it's very important to use the potential of cooperation with diaspora in promoting investment in Ukraine. We are on the way of rebuilding Ukraine, and it's not only after the war, it's not only about long-term rebuilding efforts. We need to rebuild a lot today, and again, I would like to highly appreciate the Lithuanians' input into this process. 4 projects have already been implemented of reconstruction in Irpin, Bucha, in Mykolaiv region, and there are more projects into the consideration. But we talk also about broader look at the investment in Ukraine, because reforming Ukraine on the way to European membership, the big effort of big reconstruction will need a lot of investment and participation of big stakeholders, bigger and smaller businesses. We not only need investments, we need technologies, we need to build partnership of Ukrainian companies with biggest Western companies to build Ukraine stronger, much stronger than it was. Special focus is paid to defense industries, because this is another very huge guarantee of security of Ukraine, of Lithuania and any countries. That means that we need to have a strong defense industry sector in our economies, which will be able to supply the necessary highly technological weapons to our countries, and that would be one of the biggest deterrents to deter Russian aggression in the future. Of course, the issue of supporting millions of Ukrainian displaced people which are still out of Ukraine is also a topic of this cooperation. Our people try to integrate into societies, but still we hope that everyone will return back to Ukraine as soon as the situation will let that happen. But as long as the war continues, we need to think about that and cooperate about that and use all the possibilities of our diplomacies, working close with diasporas to work on that.
Ačiū labai.
Thank you. We have 10 minutes for questions, answers. The presentations were really very interesting. I've felt great sincerity in this meeting or conference, and we plan to have a longer discussion initially, but we can always contact each other. It is important to know each other, which will lead to simpler cooperation. I open the floor for questions. I see Jonas. Thank you, Dalia. I want to agree with Mr. Ambassador on all his ideas on reconstruction of the country, NATO membership, and that organization is very important to be united, to be one force. This is a great new beginning of our meeting, of our cooperation, and I hope that this process is a two-side lane. We are sharing our own experience, and we can also learn from the experience of other countries as well. While listening to young people from Ukraine who live in Lithuania now, I was very happy to hear that young people establish their own organizations here, but I would like to invite you by saying that all people living in Lithuania are part of the Lithuanian society. Therefore, I would like to invite you to join Lithuanian youth organizations. We have a great number of them, and they cooperate not only with their Lithuanian counterparts, but also with their foreign counterparts. And we could expand this network of youth organizations. This would be very welcome. So my question is, what is your success in this area? Are you looking for joining Lithuanian youth organizations? What is your success here? Well, we started from that, actually, because one of our activity areas is cooperation with the Lithuanian organizations. So we spoke with the Lithuanian students organization. So work in this area is really going on. Thank you. Stasys Tumėnas, member of the Seimas. Thank you, Ambassador. Thank you, speakers. It was a pleasure to listen to your presentations. I wish you optimism, patience, and a swift victory in your country. We stand by you. My question is to Virginija Rinkevičienė. You have presented everything in a very beautiful light, and Ukrainians really loved it. But could you explain it to me? You said that there are 39 centers of Lithuanian or Baltic language studies in the world. Does it mean that this includes one teacher, one professor? Or is it a study model or a physical study center in a faculty of an educational institution? Or, for example, a Baltic Studies Center in Chicago? Now you mentioned 39 Lithuanian language or Baltic language study centers. I'm impressed by that. But how do you consider them to be centers? What do they include? What should they include to become centers? Thank you for your question. Yes, this is a fact that we have. These centers are very diverse, both in terms of their size and in their strength, but they are all established in global universities, and part of them can also be found in Kyiv University, centers that have a study program for the Lithuanian language. We name them Baltic language studies because in some cases this is Baltic languages, for example, Lithuanian language as a part of the Baltic studies program. We have a rather large center in the Georgian Technical University. This is a center that unites students of different subjects. They study a subject, and for example, a Georgian can learn the Lithuanian language during their bachelor studies, and then they can come to Lithuania and study in Lithuania. Well, some of them are weaker, some of them are stronger, but we're still very happy about the number of 39. Structural funds supported the projects of Baltic centers as well, under the auspices of Vilnius University and Vytautas Magnus University, when we had a University of Education Studies as well. So we have the connections with all 39 centers. Thank you, Virginia. Virginijus Misevičius from the World Lithuanian Community. I thank Lina and Virginia for this extensive direction of the sports. We have North America sports games of Lithuanians and also Irish sports of Lithuanians. And also we have a sports game in Argentina and also in Asia. Since 2012, we also have Ukrainian teams competing in our sports. So this is not a question, but a proposition. We can really share our experience and include Ukrainian communities all around the world into the sports games. Therefore, I invite all Ukrainians living in Lithuania to join the sports games in Palanga. Thank you. On this positive note of an invitation, we will complete today's conference and close this conference. I want to thank our guests from Ukraine who came here to Vilnius, to Lithuania, and became the center of uniting Ukrainians. And I hope that this is only the beginning and not the end of this beautiful cooperation and learning from each other. Thank you very much. The record of the recording of the translation into the Ukrainian language will be shared later on by email.